Welcome to Backstory, the musical journey of Leon and Malia. Award-winning duo Leon and Malia has been part of Hawaii's music scene for over 40 years, composing and performing a wide range of music in Hawaii and around the world. In this special series, we'll be hearing the fascinating backstories behind their amazing journeys in music, from Waikiki to the London Symphony, from the momentous triumphs of Hokulea to the Hawaiian cultural renaissance.
Aloha, aloha mai kākou. I'm Kimo Kaho'ano. It's an honor to be here with you, welcoming you to Backstory, the musical journey of Leon and Malia.
Aloha, I'm Leon.
And I'm Malia. We welcome you to the episode where we talk about the great voyaging canoe, Hokule'a.
For those of you who don't know the story about Hokule'a, it starts way back with our ancestors. Those Polynesians who were the great navigators, the greatest navigators of all time. And they had settled all the islands in the Pacific, including the Hawaiian Islands.
Yes, but at one point in history, the canoes stopped sailing.
Yes, it stopped sailing, and then much later, in 1970s, a group of people got together and wanted to revive the ancient Polynesian
Well, that
voyaging.
was the start of the Polynesian Voyaging Society.
Correct.
And they went to great lengths with, I think they were doing the rubbings from the petroglyphs.
Yes, and also collecting stories, and also taking a look at all the different kinds of canoes that are in the Pacific. And just really studying them and seeing how they might be able to recreate a voyaging canoe, an ancient voyaging canoe in modern times.
Which they did, yes.
And that canoe was built and launched in 1974 at Kualoa. And shortly after that, they started planning for their first voyage. And that voyage was...
Well, let me also say, the name Hokule'a means Star of Gladness, and it was named after the marker star for the Hawaiian Islands. The star that is right overhead, and the navigators could find their way to Hawaii by
the
following
ancient
the
navigators
star.
named all of the stars in the heavens because that's how they steered their canoes by, the stars. And so Hokulea was the name of the marker star, or the star that stood over Hawaii and Hawaii's latitude at a certain time. And so that's how they could always find their way to Hawaii.
So in the mid-70s, that's where our music, Leon and Malia, start with Hokule'a. And I think if we can run the clip of the first episode with Kimo Kaho'ano, where we're talking about it, let's do that, and then we'll go on and tell you more.
All right.
One moment speaks out to me and carried everyone forward is Hokulea.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
The retracing of the footsteps of our heritage and our ancestors.
Right. One of the things that occurred with the annexation...
I'm saying that because of your song, by the way.
Okay.
I mean, that's why I'm saying it, because you contributed to that moment along with everything
we saw
cared
it
about.
as a historical moment because it was so profound for us to be reminded of how great our ancestors were. That they sailed this ocean in boats made of wood and leaves.
Yes.
And did so skillfully that they settled all the islands in the Pacific. I mean, this is an accomplishment.
That was like 1,000 years before Columbus and all those guys.
All those guys who were bumping into continents and making mistakes, thinking they were here when they were actually there.
But we were fortunate enough to be there at the beginnings of it all. And when they were doing the petroglyph of the rocks and all of that. Go ahead.
And so we were there, at the launching of Hokulea, and then in the preparation for the voyage, and of course shared in all of the
launching in 75 out of Kualoa.
Yes.
Right.
What a ceremony.
Learning how to do the dried bananas and all of that.
And then, of course, one of the highlights of our career was participating in the making of the voyage of the Hokule'a, the National Geographic Special. So that was being shot while we were doing all these types of things. But after Hokule'a made her historic journey to Tahiti and back, then National Geographic decided to finish up the work that all they had been shooting and put it
Yes.
into a television documentary.
Yes.
And so they created this documentary, but they asked us to write the music for it. So we spent
was about 3 or 4 months in,
a good part of a year.
Hollywood.
Because it's not just about writing music, it's music to
Right.
No.
a particular documentary.
Right.
Yes, and you know
Yes.
how that
Film,
is. You have to
yeah.
watch every piece of footage and make sure
so
it
we
all.
sat with the director during the editing session, you know, actually helping make some decisions as to what shots would be in it. They shot something like 700 times more footage
Yes,
than is
they
used in the film.
Right, right.
Yeah, they had to.
How do you edit?
I know.
don't know. So so anyway, we got to be really good friends with the director Dale Bell, who was also, by the way,
Oh, you'll love this.
director of Woodstock. A couple years
That was
before.
his
So this guy has
original
been
claim to fame.
involved.
Yep. Woodstock. From
Woodstock,
Woodstock
ladies and gentlemen.
to Hokulea.
The one and only.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So we're still really good friends, and we work with him in consultation a lot with different films that he's working on. But anyway, so that's not
But
didn't
fast
start,
forward
but
from
it
that
yes.
40
Okay.
to
right.
when
So,
they
well, I wanted
came
to go
in.
one more thing. So Hokulea was so profound, and we actually could see it. And so we wrote, we released in 1976, which was the
Oh.
year of its voyage, this recording called Hokule'a.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in it, the lead song in this is Hokulea. And
Yes.
in it,
That's
we
where it came
wrote
from.
about celebrating this triumphant voyage before the voyage took place. And so we were basically being prophetic, saying this is a game changer, you know, that
And it was.
and it was.
Yes, we all know that now.
Yeah, so we did this, and then the next year we were working on the soundtrack,
Right.
and from there we bring it forward now.
Yes, yes. So now we come 40 years later, we were able to be there when she returned, 2 summers ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
41 years later.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So that was such an impact to be there for her return. But since then, we've also gone back to working for the kids and to getting out the feeling and the right
Well,
words.
one of the great things about the Hokule'a project in the recent years is that it has considered bringing the children in. And so there's been these programs in which the kids can downlink, directly to Hokulea
Isn't
and
that
have
wonderful?
conversations on a
Yes.
daily basis
Right,
with the
right.
crew, no matter where they were. And so this was really quite an astonishing thing. But we also decided that there still needed to be music and a way for the children to express themselves.
Right. Well, there's two
Yes.
things. One is that so much of the wonderful music that had come out after this voyage fed more into middle school, high school, that area. And we were realizing and talked with the Polynesian Voyaging Society about the fact that the elementary school from kindergarten up needed certain songs. And so we put together a study unit called Sail on Moana, which is what you have there. So it also, at the very back, will have the CD of a number of songs. And
This is in all the schools in Hawaii.
yeah, so every single school in Hawaii, we were able to get a grant to get this into every school. And there's also for the babies, for the preschools. I didn't bring it, but we have a preschool unit like this
For the
with 2
babies?
songs
Wow.
for them to do just little motions and
And these songs really work. The kids
Yeah.
get
right,
into
right.
it. Yeah.
And see, what excites me about being with the little kids is that from when I was 7 years old, I was in children's theater. So I'm like right there with them. I remember being 7 and 8 and
yeah.
whatnot. And so nowadays, when I'm singing with the kids and we're going and doing Hokulea, and she's going over the ocean and whatnot, it is just so much fun that it just works.
So the first song that we wrote about Hokule'a was written in 1975 in anticipation of the voyage of the Hokulea, which was to occur in 1976.
And that's from this album.
Yes, this is an album called Hakumele. of which there's several compositions that we had that were kind of important at the time, and Hokulea was one of those.
Right, right. And so we'd like to play a bit of the song from the original Hokulea from Hokule'a. Here we go.
Ika po'olau e a ko kako aina o ka matai e lua hanele e hola kaku e mo'ona no ano loa ka waka'i mai na ai o ia Kai ho holo ka holo ka Kai ho kele kai ka kele ka ho Mai Hawaii ya Tahiti Mai Tahiti ya Hawaii Kai holo hiki taho
In 1976, we were approached by Dale Bell, who was the producer of the National Geographic Special, The Voyage of the Hokulea. And so he had been with the crew all over Hawaii filming Hokulea or shots of Hokulea. And so he asked if we would write the soundtrack for the National Geographic Special.
Well, he had heard the song from Hokule'a,
Right.
and then also was impressed with the music we had done for the symphonic piece, Boy with Goldfish.
Correct. And we had done some performances of it with the Honolulu Symphony
Yes.
by that time, so he had heard some of that. So he asked us to write the soundtrack. So we spent a number of months in California.
Yes, we did.
At the WQED post-production studios for National Geographic, writing the soundtrack for this.
True. We do have a short clip from, I think it was 2 years ago in 2017, when producer Dale Bell was here in Honolulu, and he did an interview with the PBS station here. So why don't we watch that? He talks about it.
I selected Leon&MALIA to compose the music. The music that they composed was so in keeping with the flavor and the spirit of what Hokulea could mean, could endure to mean.
In 1977, the Voyage of the Hokulea was released, and it played on all the PBS stations all across America.
Yes.
And it actually won the Drama Critics Award for Best Documentary of the Year, 1977.
Wow, 1970. I forgot about that. Best documentary film of the year.
Yes.
Wow, that's exciting.
In 1987, the state of Hawaii declared Ho'olako Hawaii, the year of the Hawaiian. And there was a big celebration that was about to take place. Actually, we were halfway through the year already when we thought, actually, nothing's going on for the kids to celebrate Hawaiian,
Right.
Our culture and the great
Right.
things about being Hawaiian. And so we decided to write another song about Hokulea, along with several other songs, which we put together in this particular recording called Ho'olako Hawaii.
Yeah, so this was our second song.
Yes.
Our second version of Hokulea. The first was from our Hakumeli. The second we wrote for the keiki.
And this one became the more popular
It
of the
did
two
become very
because
popular.
it got picked up by many schools, etc. And then we also included it in a few years later in the first video, keiki video that we did called
Keiki Calabash. All right. So because of that, would you like to show a clip
Sure.
from Waiahole Elementary? We have a wonderful clip of those kids' interpretation of the song Hokulea. Watch this.
Hokule'a, you are the shining star, star of gladness lighting up Hawaiian skies.
2014, Hokulea embarked on an historic voyage, one of many voyages they've taken, but this one was really quite a
It was going to be,
project.
what, a 3-year?
A 3-year voyage
World voyage.
around the world.
Yes.
And so they embarked on this voyage in 2014, and we decided that we needed to do something to commemorate that as well.
That's right. And we had many requests from parents and from schools to have something in their hands in the elementary schools and the preschools where the children could be involved with this worldwide voyage.
Yes, particularly with music for this worldwide voyage. So we put together 2 projects, and this is one of them called Sail on Moana. This is for elementary school kids.
Right.
And in this, this is a song kit, or a music kit, or a study kit. So, and in it we have a CD at the end of it. But there are 3 or 4 songs on this one.
Right.
Has
Yes.
about 3 or 4
Yes.
songs in it, as well as stories about things having to do with the worldwide voyage, and particularly the tradition of sailing. And in it we have the songs about canoe foods, or actually the song is in another place, but it talks about canoe foods, about Malama, Hawaii, which because the worldwide voyage, its
Was
theme was
taking care of our Earth. Right.
Honua.
Right.
Yes. So anyway, so this is the elementary school song kit that we did.
True. And the wonderful thing about any of the song kits, especially this one, is that if you go to the Polynesian Voyaging Society website, they have so much information about that wonderful worldwide voyage. That's where you find it.
Yes.
So let me tell you a little bit about the preschool version of our song kit, and this is called Hokule'a and Me. Now that brought in the 3rd version, or the 3rd Hokule'a song that we were working on. Now the years are going past, and we did this version and that version, and this one we actually did a new song called Hokule'a and Me. And the fun thing that the preschoolers like about this is that it talks about splashing through the waves in the water on a canoe. So we'd like to show you just a little bit of how the preschoolers, the little ones, are performing with Hokule'a and Me. Let's watch. And in the Hokule'a and Me preschool version, it's really even more fun because the kids have lots of arts and crafts and fun things they do. And they develop their own pictures of, oh, here's a cute one of Hokule'a, the star. Show you that one. There you go. Right about there. And they can
And
do
crafts. There
all
are
kinds
crafts
of
in it.
crafts.
It's
just
art
too much
projects and things like
it's too
that.
messy
so-
to do that.
Yes. Anyway, so it's a song kit and a study kit. So that's how we help to contribute toward the worldwide voyage of Hokulea. In 2016, Hokulea, on his worldwide voyage, went to New York City. We also traveled there to visit Hokulea and to welcome Hokulea into New York City. So we were there with hundreds of people from Hawaii both the expatriates who lived on the East Coast and others.
Hula
that
Halal,
traveled.
it was wonderful.
Yes, there was a big celebration.
But imagine that canoe sailing past the Statue of Liberty. It was really
Yes.
quite
Therefore-
a moving experience.
Yes. And it was also honored by the United Nations because Hokulea was there for World Oceans Day. In fact, they had made it a point to get there for World Oceans Day because Ban Ki-moon, who was the Secretary General of the United Nations,
yes.
had met with Hokulea when they were in Samoa a couple of years earlier and had been made an honorary crew member. And so the United Nations mobilized and they had a wonderful ceremony for Hokulea and honored
And the
Hokulea
crew.
and
Yes.
the crew. And it was really quite an event put on by the United Nations.
So it was a fabulous time to be there in New York City. So not only did we get to be on the stage when and singing when Hokulea returned from her first voyage,
The maiden voyage
the maiden
in
voyage
Hawaii. Yeah.
in Hawaii. We were there in New York City, and then we were here in
A
Honolulu.
year later, we were back here in Honolulu
Right?
when Hokulea arrived for
It was
its
the homecoming.
triumphant arrival after the worldwide voyage.
Yes. So let's see a clip of that.
This group has also been making music, and they also did a soundtrack that was for one of the programs on National Geographic that featured the Hokule'a. So they've been making not only music for the Hokule'a, but also over these past 40 years, they've been making music also for the keiki and tying them in. Ladies and gentlemen, they've also recorded on, I mentioned this the other day on TV, that they have recorded on every format possible. LP, cassette, VHS, DVD. They were on digital before digital was, was a thing. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Hawaii recording artists Leon and Malia.
Mahalo, mahalo. Okay, well, we're really pleased to be here, really grateful to be here this day. We were here 41 years ago when Hokulea arrived back from its maiden voyage, and we were on the stage that was set up around that area. And so we're going to do a song that we wrote for the first voyage of Hokulea. Ika Hokulea, koka ko'aina, o ka makahiki, e mua hanele, e ola ole a kako, e ola halo halo wawa, ka hua kai, mai na ai o ia. Kai ho o kele kako, kai ho o kele kako, mai Hawaii a Tahiti, mai Tahiti a Hawaii, kai ola kiki kako.
Yes, indeed, 40 years of music and memories about the historic voyaging canoe, Hokule'a.
Well, that's a wrap for now, and we want to invite you to join us for our next episode coming up next month.
See you then.
Aloha.
Aloha.
you are the shining star. Star of gladness lighting up Hawaiian skies. High up in the heavens above us, faithfully shine in the night, forever shine, Hokule'a. Shine in the night over Hawaii, forever shine, Hokule'a. Shine on in history.
Oe ikakasela oe amo Maohe awanani lulu amo E olo ino sela ane na e pau E maga wa sela oe amo
Oe amo sela, oe amo.
Ino na naue hoe na e ano